Nearer to the windows could still be heard faintly from the garden. For a moment the wizard stood looking at the fire. Then he stooped and removed the ring from the hearth with the tongs, and at once picked it up. Frodo gasped.
"It's quite cool,"
said Gandalf.
"Take it."
Frodo received it on his shrinking palm. It seemed to have become thicker and heavier than ever.
"Hold it up,"
said Gandalf.
"Look closely."
As Frodo did so, he now saw fine lines, finer than the finest pen strokes, running along the ring. Outside and inside, lines of fire that seemed to form the letters of a flowing script. They shone piercingly bright, and yet remote, as if out of a great depth. I cannot read the fiery letters," said Frodo in a quavering voice.
"No,"
said Gandalf.
"but I can. The letters are Elvish, of an ancient mode, but the language is that of Mordor, which I will not utter here. But this, in the common tongue, is what it said, close enough. One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. It is only 2 lines of a verse long known in elven lore. 3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie."
He paused, and then said slowly in a deep voice,
"This is the Master Ring, the one ring to rule them all. This is the one ring that he lost many ages ago to the great weakening of his power. He greatly desires it, but he must not get it."
Frodo sat silent and motionless. Fear seemed to stretch out a vast hand, like a dark cloud rising in the east and looming up to engulf him.
"This ring,"
he stammered.
"How on earth did it come to me?"
said Gandalf.
That is a very long story. The beginnings lie back in the Black Years, which only the lore masters now remember. If I were to tell you all that tale, we should be sitting here when spring had passed into winter. But last night I told you of Sauron the Great, the Dark Lord. The rumors that you have heard are true. He has indeed arisen again and left his hold in Mirkwood and returned to his ancient fortress in the Dark Tower of Mordor. That name even you hobbits have heard of, like a shadow on the borders of old stories. Always after a defeat and a respite, the shadow takes another shape and grows again.
"I wish it need not have happened in my time,"
said Frodo.
So do I,
said Gandalf.
and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do at the time that is given us. And already, Frodo, our time is beginning to look black. The enemy is fast becoming very strong. His plans are far from ripe, I think, but they are ripening. We shall be hard put to it. We should be very hard put to it, even if it were not for this dreadful chance. The enemy still lacks one thing to give him strength and knowledge to beat down all resistance, break the last defenses, and cover all the lands in a second darkness. He lacks the one ring. The 3, fairest of all the elf lords, hid from him, and his hand never touched them or sullied them. 7 the dwarf kings possessed. The 3 he has recovered, and the others the dragons have consumed. 9 he gave to mortal men proud and great, and so ensnared them. Long ago they fell under the dominion of the One, and they became ring wraiths, shadows under his great shadow, his most terrible servants. Long ago. It is many a year since the 9 walked abroad, yet who knows? As the shadow grows once more, they too may walk again. But come, we will not speak of such things, even in the morning of the Shire. So it is now. The 9 he has gathered to himself, the 7 also, or else they are destroyed. The 3 are hidden still, but that no longer troubles him. He only needs the 1. For he made that ring himself. It is his, and he let a great part of his own form of power pass into it, so that he could rule all the others. If he recovers it, then he will command them all again, wherever they be, even the 3. And all that has been wrought with them will be laid bare, and he will be stronger than ever. And this is the dreadful chance, Frodo. He believed that the 1 had perished, that the elves had destroyed it, as should have been done. But he knows now that it has not perished, that it has been found. So he is seeking it, and all his thought is bent on it. It is his great hope, and our great fear.
Why wasn't it destroyed?
Cried Frodo.
And how did the enemy ever come to loose it if it was so strong and it was so precious to him?
He clutched the ring in his hand, as if he saw already dark fingers snatching out to seize it.
It was taken from him,
said Gandalf.
The strength of the elves to resist him was greater long ago, and not all men were estranged from them. The men of Westerness came to their aid. That is a chapter of ancient history which it might be good to recall, for there was sorrow then too, and gathering dark, but great valor and great deeds that were not wholly vain. One day, perhaps, I will tell you all that tale, or you shall hear it told in full by one who knows it best. A further moment, since most of all you need to know how this thing came to you, and that will be tale enough. This is all I will say. It was Gil-galad, Elven King, and Elendil of Westerness who overthrew Sauron, though they themselves perished in the deed. And Isildur, Elendil's son, cut the ring from Sauron's hand and took it for his own. Then Sauron was vanquished, and his spirit fled and was hidden for long years, until his shadow took shape again in Mirkwood. But the ring was lost. It fell into the great river, Anduin, and vanished. For Isildur was marching north along the east banks of the river, and near the Gladden fields he was waylaid by the orcs of the mountains, and almost all his folk were slain. He leapt into the waters, but the ring slipped from his finger as he swam, and then the orcs saw him and killed him with arrows.
Gandalf paused.
And there in the dark pools amid the Gladden fields,
He said,
the ring passed out of knowledge and legend. And even so much of its history is known now only to a few, and the council of the wise could discover no more. But at last, I can carry on the story, I think. Long after, but still very long ago, there lived by the banks of the great river on the edge of Wilderland a clever-handed and quiet-footed little people. I guess they were of hobbit kind, akin to the fathers of the Stools,